How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing very well. I was took a little time during the break, went skiing. My son got COVID, but it was so mild that the one day he had symptoms, he says to me, "Can I just ski?" So I said, "Yeah, as long as you stay outdoors and don't infect anybody else." So he skied through his one day of COVID symptoms.
So he had COVID. What did you make of that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure he was vaccinated and boosted.
Yeah. So what I make of it is, and I was vaccinated and boosted, and we spent a lot of time together.
And you didn't get
Skiing,
it?
driving to the ski place. Pardon?
And you didn't get it?
And I didn't get it. So what it tells me is, it is breaking through, but the boosters are very effective. I mean, the fact that I didn't get it, I think, is because I was boosted. He was not. He was double vaccinated,
Got
but
it.
not boosted because he's only 22.
Got it.
But the main thing I get from it, look, I know about in the last 2 weeks, I know about 12 people who have gotten COVID. Two had pretty bad symptoms, like a full blown cold. Everybody else was asymptomatic. I compare that to the first month of COVID, March 2020. I knew two people who got COVID, both of whom were hospitalized, one of whom died. So
Oh.
this is a very mild but very widespread variant, and it's already coming down. It went up like a rocket. New York City this week, cases are down 35%.
Oh, nice.
So I think what's happening is you're getting widespread infection, but even because the numbers are high, you are seeing a lot of people in hospitals. But I think they're going to come down just as fast as they went up.
You say they're coming down in New York. Have we reached the peak then? Has all the data gotten to where it needs to be so it will start to come down in other places like that?
So what we're seeing is South Africa was the first place hit. It's completely gone down there.
Got it.
UK was second. London cases are falling precipitously now. New York is falling. Other parts of the country will cap. One way to think about this, Ryan, is what this is doing is this is nature's way of giving antibodies to the non-vaccinated. To those people who are not vaccinated, they are really getting Omicron. That you look at the numbers and it's 10 times as many people
Mhm.
unvaccinated are getting it as vaccinated. And they will get their antibodies and they will get their immunity from COVID the hard way. It'll be much easier to get it through a vaccine, boosting and all that, but you're going to get the largest number, the biggest effect of this is going to be to give infection and therefore antibodies to people who are not vaccinated.
Well, viruses, they come, they recreate, they become different variants. We're seeing that in other places around the world where it starts and comes to the States. Is this just going to be a way of life for the next foreseeable future?
Look, I think we're probably past we're getting to the point where we're past the worst of it. But the idea that we will have um, these kinds of infectious viruses as part of the mix of our life, unfortunately, is likely to be true, and it's partly because of the way we live. We have a lot of the development taking place in places like Asia. Um, the human beings are encroaching on nature. The closer you keep getting to nature, the more you're going to get animal diseases. All these diseases, all these coronaviruses, SARS, MERS,
Mhm.
Ebola, even HIV, these are all zoonotic diseases, meaning they originate in animals. Why are we getting so many of them in the last 30 years? Because everywhere around the world, human beings are getting closer and closer in terms of building cities, towns, expanding to animals. So yeah, the fundamental reality is
Interesting.
we're probably going to see more of this. Hopefully, we will get better and better at the viruses and the treatments as well.
Fareed Zakaria with us right now. Before you go, I want to get your take on, I guess, what we can expect in terms of inflation and the costs of some of our everyday supplies and where
I
that's
think
going.
it's going to be a tough period for the next year or two because we switched off the global economy and then we just switched it back on. And guess what? It turns out it's not an on-off switch. When you switch off the economy for a year and tell people to go home and not, well, a lot of people don't come back to the same jobs. A lot of, and this disease is affecting different countries at different points. So you say you want to start on, but Right now, some of your parts came from India and they're going through their own spike right now, or they came from Vietnam and Vietnam is shut down, or, so that the stop start jerkiness of the supply chain means I think you're going to see it harder and harder to get stuff. And when it's harder to get stuff, you have to pay more
To pay
for it
for it. Yeah.
because there's limited supply, which means the price goes up. So, one way to think about this, Ryan, is for the last 30 years, we developed a system where companies could find the cheapest thing in the world by going wherever it was cheapest, where whatever the most efficient means was. That was the hallmark, right? Now, for a variety of reasons, we're not doing that. Some of it is pandemic, some of it is protectionism, right? We're seeing we want stuff to be made closer to home. Well, guess what? If you do that, it's going to cost more.
Mm.
And so if you put tariffs on China, if you put tariffs on Europe, all that means the cost of goods go up. And it's a very interesting moment where we've kept saying, that's okay. We want stuff to be made in America. Well, let's see how people feel. There was a very interesting poll done once where they said, you want your jeans made in America? That's great. Here's the deal. The Levi's jean that you used to pay $40 for is going to cost $80. Now, do you want it made in America? And 75% of the people said no, 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 no.
Mm.
We want the cheap $40 jean. They can make it in China.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. All right. I wish we had a longer format program where I could continue to talk to you, but we'll watch your program. Watch GPS with Fareed Zakaria Sundays, 10 a.m., 9 Central, CNN. And Fareed's special, The Fight to Save American Democracy, is available now on demand or the CNN app. Let's talk soon. Take good care.
Thank you, Ryan. Always a pleasure.
Be well. Bye-bye.